Yo, what's going on, ladies and gents? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another video. Today we are once again back on Modern Warfare, and I wanted to share with you guys the best class setup for the P90 submachine gun. There are a lot of really good SMGs in this game, and I feel like the P90 is definitely one of those. It's fairly accurate, does really well, and obviously has a really quick fire rate. But if you guys look in the bottom left corner, you'll see the stats after we add all of the attachments, and you'll see that our accuracy, our range, and our control is what was focused on with this SMG. It's already got fairly high mobility, so we did sacrifice a little bit of that, but it's not too big of a deal because we are still able to move really quickly with this thing. Obviously, we're going to be playing aggressive. It isn't a submachine gun, but what's nice about this thing is that it's already fairly accurate, and by buffing our accuracy, range, and definitely our control, we're going to be able to get in gunfights that are more medium to long range with this thing as well. So if we do run into a situation where we're playing on a bigger map or someone's further away than, you know, maybe 10 yards, it'll be easier to take somebody out with this gun. So the first attachment we're going to be running is a barrel. We're not going to be using a muzzle. The barrel we're going to be using is the Forged Tack Retribution. What you're getting with this is damage, range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. This is what's going to buff all three: accuracy, range, and control. This is going to knock down our mobility a little bit, but this is a great attachment to run. If you guys look at the FSS below that, we're going to hurt everything except our mobility, which we're not going to be running for this class. So again, the Forged Tack Retribution barrel. The laser we're going to be using is the Tack laser, and I like this laser a lot. We're going to be using this to buff our mobility just a little bit so we don't sacrifice too much. We're also gaining accuracy and control with this because it is a SMG and we're going to have a lot of close quarters gunfights. I do want to run the laser so that I can win more gunfights if someone comes running around a corner or if I go running around a corner. What's nice about this attachment is having that aim down sight speed. Being able to aim down sight a little bit quicker is going to help you win more gunfights in the long run. Something you might not even notice when you're playing in game, but trust me, it helps, and it's nice to have that. Next, we're going to be using a stock. We're going to be using the FFS Heavy Stock Pro. This is going to knock down our mobility just a tiny bit, but it's going to give us more control and more accuracy for those long distance gunfights. The pros are aiming stabilities, the cons are aim, walking, movement speed, which isn't too big of a deal. We're using an SMG. We're not going to be aiming around corners and playing defensive. We're going to be very aggressive with this thing, so that's not too detrimental to our class setup. The underbarrel that we're going to be using is the granulated grip tape. You'll see that this is what's going to buff our control a lot. We do get a little bit of range and accuracy with this thing, but more aiming stability. It's nice to have that control, especially with an SMG, and an SMG as good as the P90. This has got one of the best aiming. This is one of the best aiming SMGs in the game, and I've had a lot of fun with it, especially with all these attachments on it. It can be hard to knock out some of these challenges, but to get the camos, but good attachments will help you out when it comes to doing that. Last but not least, we're going to be using rear grip stippled grip tape. This is going to give you more aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. This is going to buff our mobility a little bit so that we don't sacrifice too much. If you guys don't know, sprint to fire speed is very important because when you're using an SMG, you're going to be running around a lot of corners. You're going to be in those situations where other teams' players are running around corners, and having that sprint to fire speed and having that aim down sight speed is going to help you win so many more gunfights. So it's nice to be able to do that. But those are the attachments we're going to be running for the P90. Secondary, I'm using the M19. The reason I'm using that one is because we're going to be in a lot of those close quarters gunfights. So if we run out of ammo or have to reload really quick, we can just whip this thing out, fire a few shots off. The range on this thing isn't very good, but it's not a big deal because, again, we're going to be really up close on enemies, being very aggressive, so we won't need too much range. And obviously this thing's got plenty of ammo, so we'll be able to finish somebody off with this thing if we end up having to reload. Perk-wise, we're using double time, and that is kind of to make up for the lack of mobility with this class setup. Since we did take a little bit away and we didn't buff the mobility too much, we're going to double the duration of our tactical sprint, which is nice. It'll allow us to kind of make up for that and still have a decent weapon. We're going to be using Ghost as our second perk to stay off the radar. Obviously, we're going to be in the spawns a lot, rushing, and we want to stay off the radar as much as possible, so this will help do that. And then last but not least, perk-wise, we're using Battle Hardened. That's going to reduce the strength of enemy flash stuns and EMPs, which you're going to run into a lot of when you're playing aggressive, especially on some of these smaller maps. So having Battle Hardened to help you win more gunfights when it comes to dealing with maybe inside of a headquarters or inside of a hard point. It's really clutch. I use it on most of my classes. But lethal, we're going to be using the Simtex rather than the frag. Obviously, with Simtex, we're going to be in a lot of close situations, so we'll be able to use that Simtex to win more gunfights or win more, get more kills that are people in buildings that are in close of us, not gunfights, obviously. And then tactical, we're running stun grenade. This doesn't matter too much. You can use flash if you want. And then we're going to be using dead silence, obviously, so we can be quiet and get into spawns pretty quick. But that is the P90 class setup in Modern Warfare. If you guys have any questions or anything else to add, make sure to leave it down in the comment section below. I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see all you guys in the next video.